John.
Sorry, I was glitching out there for a minute. What's going on, everybody?
I don't see anything on John's camera, so I don't know
what's. I'm an idiot. What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday night. Always a good time. Another night of SDGC, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Welcome to the annual roast of.
Woo! So we had so we were already primed to talk about a lot of CDPR and Cyberpunk stuff, and then some news dropped about Cyberpunk literally right before we came,
which we will get
live,
to, but it's a gift. It's a gift to us tonight.
It's I almost want to say
I'm so glad it happened before we went live. Like we're all here to talk about it right now.
Yeah, but first, CJ's back. CJ from Waypoint Set. What's up, bud?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Before I say anything, she would kill me if I didn't say shout out to Christine, my co-host, my girlfriend. Poor thing if you're watching this, because we're going to talk about shit you don't care about. But I feel the need to tell her if she's not on now, yeah, her loss. But anyway, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm vibing, man. I'm vibing.
I'm enjoying a delicious bourbon barrel gingerbread stout.
I added some rum to some nog. I'm ready to go.
So it's called
drinking water.
Yeah,
like
water.
Usual.
Smart.
You didn't even put any Mio in that water? Some
Listen,
flavoring?
I gotta get some G Fuel.
Donnie's gonna convince me to get G Fuel. Like,
yeah, I know. I've actually been convinced that I should try it.
The next time we're at PAX, I want you to go to the bar and order a G Fuel and Coke.
Dude, G Fuel is actually one of the sponsors, and there's shit from them all over the place at PAX.
Yeah. And Jeff, what are you drinking?
I got some bourbon here. It's fine.
Yeah. How many bottles of it do you have? I know you posted that picture earlier where
Yeah,
you had several already.
I mean, that's just a guess. No, I only have one. Most of that's my wife's, actually.
So, yeah, a lot to talk about tonight.
do you want to start on lighter notes, though? Do you want to start with some fun?
Let's start with some
fun.
Or do we want to end with fun? What do we want to do?
Let's start with the fun.
Why
we can get to the heavy.
Let's do a fun sandwich. Do a fun sandwich. We're gonna have a little bit of fun at the beginning, a little bit of fun in the end, and then a lot of garbage in the middle.
Justin, your definition of a fun sandwich is much different than mine. So we'll go ahead and we will kick it off by talking about what we've been playing. I'm not even gonna go there. I'll go first real quick, just because mine's gonna be quick. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. Playing that why is Blaine said ho ho in chat, and Derek had to permit that term. What? He's not calling anybody
Santa.
Hold on.
Just another part.
Ho.
Just another part in the war on Christmas.
She's not actually calling anybody a ho, Twitch. She just said that ho ho, like ho.
No,
ho,
she's
ho.
calling
Now
me
I
a
have
hoe,
machine gun.
and she's right.
All right. Anyway, so I've been playing a lot of fun. It did it again. So I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, but diving into the new content. And today I fired up the new Bravely Default 2 demo, which is leaps and bounds better than the first one. I had a lot of problems with the first one, and this just feels better to play. It feels more like that classic Bravely Default, gameplay. I mean, these games are basically old school Final Fantasy games. And it's very much your standard turn-based JRPG, just like it always was. I love it. It's beautiful. And I'm a lot more excited for the actual release next February. The only other thing I've been playing is I'm replaying. I finished my Parasite Eve replay, and I am now replaying Resident Evil 7 because that game fucking rules. Love Resident Evil 7. It's the second best in the series, behind 4.
Good news for you, John.
Actually, no, shit. I'm not even going to get into a Resident Evil ranking discussion right now. Who wants to go next?
Oh, God. It would be hours that we were on it.
Yeah, I can't do next. That. Yeah, go ahead.
I've been dabbling in a few things. So last week, the next-gen update for Destiny finally launched. And I've been waiting to jump into Beyond Light, the newest expansion, until this next-gen update came out. Because a lot of the features that the next-gen update is adding is stuff I've been asking for literally since the alpha of the first Destiny. And I have to say it is one of the most transformative updates that I think any game
It feels
has
like a
gotten.
whole different game. It feels like a different
Like
game.
jumping in with Beyond Light and then these new features, like it honestly feels like Destiny 3. It's awesome. Like graphics are overhauled across the board. It's running at 4K. It's running at 60 FPS, which Destiny has been like the big FPS franchise that hasn't moved to 60 FPS on consoles yet. Hadn't been, but now it is 60 FPS, and you can even play at 120 FPS in Crucible, if you have a display that can support that. They added a field of view slider, which if you've played Destiny, you know that game's got a tight field of view, so that helps a lot.
It does.
Like the load time transitions and like how quick it is now to navigate menus and stuff is one of the biggest quality of life updates that Destiny as a whole has had. It's wonderful. It's awesome to play. I'm still in the grind to get up to like the highest levels to do some of the end game stuff, but it's a really, really good update.
Is it comparable to the quality of life bump that this podcast got when Derek joined?
I mean, that's an impossible bar.
I mean,
possibly.
I know.
So I've been jumping. I also started Star Wars Squadrons. That was on sale, so I snagged it.
That's a good game. That's a real
I've been
good game.
holding off on playing it because I'm really fucking bad at that kind of game. Always have been. Thankfully, they have difficulty levels that are appropriate for somebody like me. So I've been checking it out. I haven't gone too far into it, but it's really cool. Like they totally nail like the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter vibes of those old PC games. It's gorgeous. They did an awesome job with it. And then also I've been go ahead, Derek.
I was just gonna say I actually just started Star Wars Squadrons this week as well. And I just want to briefly add on and then let you continue. God, I love that game. Like it is so much better than I expected. Really the campaign is fun for a like budget price title. It also runs stupid well on PC. Like,
it runs well on console too.
Yeah,
like,
it runs super well on no matter what you have.
Yeah, it's a very good time, and it's just simmy enough without being too bogged down. Like in the details.
I think they totally perfectly straddled the line between what a lot of casual Star Wars fans would want to play and then what the flight sim people would like. Like this, like it, and it was pitched from the beginning as being like a lower budget, smaller title, but it really feels like the team that was behind this put in a ton of effort to get it right. And it's actually been so successful that they actually released a free DLC with some extra ships that they had originally said that there was going to be no DLC for this game. It was just, you get what's there on day one. But they added the B-Wing and then I think TIE Interceptor.
And there's going to be more. There's going to be more.
Yeah, that was highly requested by the audience. They added it for free because the game was way more successful than they expected. It's always awesome to see, especially since EA's kind of struggled with some of their Star Wars games getting off the ground.
Putting it very lightly.
Yeah, it's really good to see something like this do well. And like you could tell the team was really passionate about this game, and it's awesome. I'm looking forward to putting more time into it, but I haven't played it too much yet. I'm also going through a New Game Plus run of Spider-Man Miles Morales for the Platinum, because Insomniac added one of the most impressive updates that I think any game has gotten shortly after launch, which is a third mode. Originally, it had a performance mode that was 4K 30 FPS with ray tracing, as well as a mode that was focused on performance, which didn't have ray tracing, but it was 60 FPS. They added a performance ray tracing mode, which runs at 60 FPS with ray tracing, and it is phenomenal. The performance is just as steady as the old performance mode was. They basically, instead of just giving like a huge resolution hit, it was like a slight resolution hit, some tweaks here and there to some other settings, but like individually, if you knew what they looked like before or are looking for them, they would stand out. But like in just general play, it really feels like a no compromises mode. It is awesome. And as someone who a couple of years ago wasn't even thinking we would get ray tracing support in any in the new consoles, getting a launch AAA open world game running at 60 FPS with ray tracing bodes really well for some of the stuff we're going to see this generation. And that mode has also been added to the Spider-Man remaster. So both the remaster and Miles Morales have it. So awesome work for Insomniac. I'm really excited to see what they do with Ratchet and Clank, and I'm really excited to see what we see from these consoles in the future. So I've been jumping between those. I've been having a great time. Those have been good.
Justin, I've been having a great time just being your friend.
Aw, thank you, John.
I just want you to know that, man. I want you to know that.
I
I'm also
appreciate
that was like a 16% alcohol beer, so I'm feeling a little good right now. So if I'm a little, if I keep telling you gentlemen how much I love you all, please just bear with me. Who wants CJ? Why don't you go next, dude? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Okay, so I've been going through this weird I have these weird phases where I have moods for like hyperfixations on one certain genre, one certain style of game. After the disappointment that was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, I'm like, all right, I need some good first-person shooters to kind of wash away that sour taste that is left in my mouth. So I reinstalled Doom Eternal. I'm playing that on like not the highest difficulty, like the one just below that.
So you're not getting the real Doom experience, CJ.
No, I'm not a real gamer, not at all. I'm playing on console and I'm playing with just enough help. Where, and I'm still enjoying it. It's still like the best AAA game released this year, in my opinion. Like I still love it. And then kind of like counteract that, I picked up Immortals Phoenix Rising. I put in like 2 hours so far into it. I was telling Finn on Twitter, it's like all those budget PS2 games I played when I was like really young, they finally made the AAA version of that. Immortals, basically. And I love it. I'm like, oh, it's like this weird, it's like, you guys remember Tak and the Power of Juju? It's like someone made an open world version.
Yes.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Do I remember what?
Do you not remember Tak and the Power of Juju?
That's no, like that. Remember, John, I was born in 1997, the year Final Fantasy VII came out. So I played video games.
You were born when I was a senior in high school.
I played in the early 2000s. I was very young, and I played a lot of GameCube games, like a lot of shitty GameCube games that were based on like weird Nickelodeon properties. So this feels like the culmination of it all, and I'm really digging it. It's not. People compare it to Breath of the Wild. It's not that much like it. It really does feel like it's another Ubisoft game, but the art style enough it like kind of carries it. I'm really digging it. But that's basically
CJ. The fact that you just said it's another Ubisoft game instantly makes me go like, well, I'm like, no,
I will fully like they've been in hot water like all year, but I still shamelessly play any massive open world game with like markers to follow on a map and all that shit, and I dig it. I still think it's like it's a pretty fun time.
Yeah, I mean, you vibe with the format or you don't. Like it's not really like Phoenix Rising seems like it's a very good game of that style. Those types of games have never vibed with me, but like Finn's been really enjoying it, right, from what he's played. So. Yeah,
and he usually doesn't like a lot of the Ubisoft stuff, so.
I played Valhalla for review, and that exhausted me after like 60 hours. So to play a game that's like, oh, we're gonna trim all that fat, so like the first half hour, the prologue's done. Like, first hour and a half, the prologue's done. It's kind of refreshing. I'm like, oh, okay, I can finish this game.
So you actually saw the title card before like 10 hours of play, like Ubi's games have been doing lately.
What? Within the same session, I see the title card. Wonderful, wonderful.
So, how about Derek? Derek, what are you playing right now, man? What were you streaming today, Derek? Tell us about what you're playing.
Well, so I'm still playing a lot of the stuff I've been playing since the last show, right? I'm still playing Neverwinter Nights because that game takes forever. I'm still playing Diablo 2 co-op with Martha, the first time she's ever played it, and it's been a blast. I'm still playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity because it's a Musou game, and it will take me forever to get to the end of that story mode at the rate that I play games, especially when I'm playing like 8 of them. I've been streaming the Batman series, so I'm on Arkham Origins right now. I've been streaming Halo, so I'm on Halo 2, which I will continue tomorrow. The only real thing that's been added, that's changed from the last show, is that I started playing Star Wars Squadrons, which I already mentioned. It has greatly surprised me. It's a lot of fun. I'm not a huge Star Wars person. Like, I like them, but I wouldn't even call myself like a fan. But I'm deeply enjoying. I mean, if there's one thing Star Wars that I deeply love, it's Rogue Squadron. So Squadrons is up my alley. We're getting a Rogue Squadron movie from Patty Jenkins. Like, I'm doing pretty
so
good.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good, y'all. I've also been playing the continued video game that is mercilessly tracking everything that leaks out of Capcom and everything to do with Monster Hunter in particular, because it's me. I can't help it.
Well, I'm avoiding the Capcom leaks because it seems like some story info for some games.
Oh
I'm looking
yes,
forward to
oh
has
yes. I
started to
do
get
not
out there, and
suggest.
So that was when I completely checked out, because
The game comes with some
that's
risks.
where I don't want.
You gamble.
Yeah.
You gamble quite a bit when you play that game. But yeah, you know, it's been a good couple weeks. I'm just playing like 8 different games, and I'm having comfortable fun with all of them. And eventually, I'm gonna beat like Neverwinter Nights and then start Pillars of Eternity or something, because I'm a sucker for. I still have Yakuza 7 to beat too. Son of a fuck. Yeah,
Derek, did you say Pillows of Eternity?
Pillars of Eternity, and I might have slurred it slightly, not because I'm drunk, just because I'm sloppy as a human being.
but now I need Pillows of Eternity too.
Bruh, put me to sleep forever. Wake me up in 2028. Like, let's go.
No, yeah, I think we could all use Pillows of Eternity right now.
No.
Derek, is that all? Derek, is that all you got, bud?
That's all I got.
And Jeffrington,
Yeah,
what are you playing, Jeffrington?
not much, because I just finished watching all the extended editions of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and because I'm like an adult now, it took me like 2 weeks to get through them all. In, like,
Yeah.
one more
I mean,
chunk.
that's like what? That's like a solid 24-hour a movie.
Yeah, it's a commitment. But aside from that, you know, you just talk about Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I don't know if you guys could see. I've got a Force Awakens poster here and a Rogue One poster here. I got my R2 with the Santa
I see
hat.
Jeff
in the
of R2,
corner there.
yeah.
Jeff, we've been close friends for years now, and I this is the first I've ever heard about you being a Star Wars fan. I got to tell you, like
That seems unlikely.
this comes as a huge shock to me.
I did stop talking about Star Wars when The Last Jedi came out, so that might be part of it. But yeah, so you know, I've been watching Clone Wars. I'm rewatching the original trilogy. I'm eating really good. And then we got Mandalorian season finale tomorrow. So I also picked up Star Wars Squadrons this week because it was on sale, and I'm enjoying it with my Thrustmaster T16000M. I don't have the throttle control because I'm cheap, and this was on sale for like $60 last year. But you know, I played Ace Combat with it and Flight Sim and now Squadrons, so I'm getting some good use out of it. But yeah, I don't have much to add to Squadrons on top of what you guys already said. It's just a good old-fashioned Star Wars game. I like that there's a little bit of story and some characters, but it doesn't really like get in the way. A lot of that's optional. You can kind of interact with them in the hangar and in between the briefings, but you don't have to. And it's funny because I'm like usually pretty big on story for games, but I don't know. In this one, the story's not bad. It's kind of like how I feel about most Star Wars stories and games. I'm like, it's fine. It's giving me a reason to do the things that the game wants me to do. But yeah, so I don't know. It's good. I will say I'm also bad at it, which is funny because like obviously my flight simulator skills do not carry over to Star Wars Squadrons.
Which is weird because they're two extremely similar games. I don't understand why those.
Well, it's like the controls fuck me up a little bit too. I'm getting too technical, but like I don't know, the like banking in this game is not the same. Normally you'd like move one of the it just controls entirely differently, and there's a few like
because you gotta like boost and then boost again while boosting with a turn, and it cuts the boost and drifts. It's very weird.
But normally, like in a regular flight game, you drop the wing and gravity would actually like pull you down and you would do a bank. But in this one, you actually have to like move the stick to the left to turn horizontally on that axis. I don't know. It just like it required a bit of mental adjustment because I've got muscle memory from those other ones. But yeah, no, it's the missions are nice and tight, and it kind of eases you into it. But I just did one mission. It was just so Star Wars. Like there's kind of like an outpost, and you have to first you kind of like protect a Corvette for a little bit. Then you actually have to do a bombing run where you kind of go inside, like around the perimeter of the thing, and the gravity is cool because like the bombs don't just drop straight down; they just drop straight down based on the orientation of your craft because like all the gravity is simulated. So like you can just turn sideways and the bombs go sideways. It's a fun game. It's just really fun. I'm also really bad at it, so yeah.
I'm curious. I don't like dogfighting games at all, or I'm not like too into them. Like, how much enjoyment will I get out of this? If I'm more into like multiplayer shoot, because I really want to play the multiplayer. I think it looks fun. Like, how much will I get out of it if I'm not into flight stuff?
I think it's easier to control than most flight games. Like, it's definitely easier to control than, say, Ace Combat, just because.
But it's still, I mean, it's still a dogfighting game, though.
I mean,
like,
yes, but
I
like
kinda
it controls. I don't know, because your standard control is up, down, left, right, not roll up like that. Like, I think it feels more like vehicle combat in a lot of shooter games rather than dogfighting. But like, again, it's still not gonna feel like a traditional shooter. It's still probably gonna feel closer to, you know. I'm sorry.
Derek fucking shitting in everybody's cereal over here. God damn it, Derek.
Well, now I'm
not house trained.
I feel even more left out. You guys are having fun with your dogfight game.
All right, so is it time?
So okay, so there's a lot.
I think Jeff wanted. I
thought Justin, you had a small thing to lead us into.
Well,
I'll go into that stuff later. I think
okay.
I know Jeff has really wanted to start on.
Yeah,
some of this
Jeff.
stuff,
Why don't you, Jeff?
I think a lot of what he says is going to reflect a lot of what we've been thinking.
So Jeff, why don't you launch us into our main course tonight, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Justin wants to lead you guys into the technical side of things because there's obviously a lot to talk about there. I basically just want to say like. I don't have much to add to this game in terms of what you guys are probably going to be talking about. Like I'm just fucking mad. All right, I'm really mad about this game. And like 2 months ago, I was mostly like apathetic, and I think that was wrong. Also, and I want to put this in context, like a little bit of a journey that I've gone on because I think a lot of other people need to take the same journey that I took with this game. So I want to relay that experience, and I think it's important. This is a game that I was really excited about a few years ago.
We should be clear. We haven't said the words Cyberpunk 2077 yet. I know that's probably obvious from context, but yeah. It's game, okay. Yeah. They can't come find us because we said it out loud. This isn't Twitter.
Okay.
The game
shall not be
named. All of us.
Yeah. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, right? I put it on our Games of Generation list that we just did not that long ago. I love open world games. I love AAA games. I fucking love RPGs. This game had everything that I wanted to like, and I was excited for it at some point. And then we kind of just had a series of problems. And I think where a lot of my anger has come from the last couple weeks is that I think the conversation has moved on, and that's natural and expected because I think there's only so much you can say about certain topics before there's nothing left to say. And a lot of people, a lot of like straight white people like myself just can't say that much on it because we don't have the perspective. But it still doesn't sit right with me that like people are here talking about the frame rate and I'm still kind of like, isn't this whole company just really fucking shitty? Like, I think I was coming at this with a perspective like, and I want to preface this with saying, I'm not calling anyone who buys this game or plays this game a bad person.
Right.
I'm not here to cast that judgment on you. There are people that are going to buy and play this game and write really good pieces on it. And I think if you play it, you should be playing it for the right reasons. But the way I approach this is it took a lot of listening and a lot of reading for me and some very good friends and even some people on the crew here. But we had a lot of transphobic tweets from CDPR. Their crunch with the studio has been well documented. And I basically just had a lot of friends and a lot of people that I know say like, hey, you can play this game, but the idea of someone just going in and ignoring this stuff and enjoying this game, it really bothers me. And I kind of had to search for a point where I was like, initially I was just not playing this game because I was told I shouldn't play this game. And I wasn't comfortable with being there. I think we need to get to a point where you genuinely don't want to play this game, or if you do, it makes you feel a little cruddy. And that's kind of where I'm at now, where I'm like, it's easy for me, the person I am, to kind of look at these issues and these hostile attitudes that this company has towards a lot of minorities in the community and say, oh, that's like a little rock here, I could just step around this. But for those people, it's not a little rock, it's a fucking mountain of problems, and they can't just walk around it because it's all that they fucking see. And I think a lot of us need to look at it from their perspective and give that the intention that it's due. So I'm at the point where, it's still a product that's being sold for money. People are still right to be angry that the thing they bought doesn't work. But none of that even fucking registers for me, because I'm still at the point where this company sucks ass. They're openly hostile to people. They never fucking apologize for it. They wrote one sentence that said, sorry if you were offended. And then when the game came out and had some floating NPCs, they wrote a fucking novel on it.
Yeah,
the disparity between that is not proportional. So I'm sorry, I can't pretend to give a shit that the game is broken, because if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I'm sorry, this whole company and this game fucking stinks. And I'm gonna let you guys go on in a minute, but I don't care. I mean, I feel bad for some of the developers. I'm sure there's good people that worked many years to work on this game, but it's not my job to make sure they get paid. It's that fucking company's job, and I'm not putting that on my conscience. So I'm sorry, that's not my responsibility. Someone else needs to fucking deal with that. I don't know. That's my take on this game.
No, dude, you killed it. I agree. I agree 100%. And I'll say this, especially for us here on this podcast, SDGC is more than just a podcast. We have a whole Discord with hundreds of people in there. We have a large trans community. We have a large LGBTQ community. And I remember, who here remembers that tweet that CDPR put out? I think it was maybe like a year ago or so, when they were like, did you just assume our gender? And I'm like,
GOG made like an attack helicopter joke or something, right?
Yeah, and I'm like,
and it's the same
Jesus
company, so
Christ,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me? I was never going to purchase this anyway, right? Because I said this on chat, or I said this on Twitter, and I'll say it again here. And just like Jeff said, there are great people at this company. Like most of the bullshit happening right now is the responsibility of senior leadership and the social media team, right? I am sure there are tons of good people who are actually making the game and just want to make a good game for people to play. That being said, that doesn't mean that this company doesn't need to be held to account for the mistakes it's made. And it's not just a matter of bigoted statements or shitty or incendiary lines of thought. It's also the fact that right now, I mean, they are just being straight up 100% dishonest with consumers in regards to the state of the console game. And hold on, Justin, I want to get you in just a second, Justin. But before I do, I want to kick it over to our guest, because I want to make sure that CJ has a chance to cut in on this. CJ, I and again, there is no judgment levied against anybody in this podcast who might have bought it, right? At the end of the day, it's a video game, and if you want, do what you will with your money. But I just have you picked up Cyberpunk? And if not, are you planning to? And I don't know, what are your feelings on all this?
Let me preface this. I like Jeff was like, he kind of nailed it with my feelings. I was initially looking forward to it. I don't like The Witcher 3 though, or at least I've tried playing it, and I really can't get into it.
A man of taste.
But I finished Red Dead 2 earlier this year, and I'm like, all right, I need that next sort of game to live in, and nothing has scratched that itch. Ghost of Tsushima disappointed me. Last of Us Part 2 disappointed me. Other things I've tried to kind of get into haven't really, hit that thing. Cyberpunk looked to be it. I'm like, okay, it's like a game where I could live in. I could really, just sort of sink so much time into. Then I don't remember, this summer specifically, I don't know, CDPR was just trying their damnedest to make this game as unappealing as possible to me with the transphobic stuff. Man, the absolute disrespect to Latinx minorities. Yes. Oh my God. And I'm like, so I don't know, 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 even after that, I was, and then the crunch stuff came out. I was still kind of like, you know what? I still have like a curiosity about this game, right? Like I'm still a bit curious to see what this is all about. It can still be fun again if I go into it knowing damn well there are a lot of issues with it. After I played through Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and realized, holy shit, a lot of these major games are fucking racist against people like me. I can't, with good conscience, spend my own money supporting it. And again, it's also completely fucking broken on the one console I own I can play it on. So that doesn't really help it either. Right? Like,
I hope it's not play. I hope you were. If it's PlayStation, you can't even buy it anymore anyway.
Yeah, yeah, literally right before we started, I'm like, sorry guys, I'm trying to buy Cyberpunk on PlayStation. But again, even friends telling me, hey, look, we're playing it on base PS4. It's fine. Like we haven't had much issues with it. That I'm still like scared to buy it, even again, barring all the issues, which I've already said. So at this point, I don't think I'm gonna play it at all. Even if I really wanted to, there's no way for me to play it right now, so that doesn't necessarily help it either. But yeah, that's sort of where I stand on it.
Justin, I know you wanted to. Yeah, go ahead.
So before I get into kind of what I was going to take the lead on, I do also want to say something, because I personally, two things. One, I haven't said too much about some of these issues because I know my voice isn't the one that people want to hear about this stuff. Two, I also did not buy the game because of a lot of these issues. And I personally do not like to criticize thematic content, especially, problematic stuff and writing-wise, unless I have the thing and have experienced it. So I haven't said that stuff too much, but I do want to say kind of the thing that I realized before launch, when I fully decided I wasn't going to buy this game, is that, so one issue I've had with a lot of types of criticism is they don't make a difference between just something purely, like a mistake that was made purely out of ignorance and one that was purely made out of malice. There's kind of an assumption of malice in a lot of criticisms that doesn't sit right with me, because I can usually parse through and understand how a mistake was made. However, CDPR has literally had 2.5 years of feedback on some of these issues. The transphobic stuff was initially shown in marketing for the ray tracing features, like in a partnership with NVIDIA. I read an article, about Jackie and like poorly written Latinx characters years ago. They've had time to address this stuff, and they clearly did not. And that was the thing where it crossed over from, I get maybe, they were going for stuff, or maybe we have it out of context, to it seeming more malicious, or, at best, they just didn't care. And that was the tipping point for me.
Are we cool?
Where I was like, you know what, I can't buy this game.
Are we cool if because we've actually been talking a lot about a lot of what kind of how, I guess we would say, CD Projekt is shitty to a lot of groups, and especially like the LGBTQ community. We've referenced like some shitty tweets they've made, but like, are we cool with me kind of laying out some of the shit that's actually in the game and some of the shitty represented, because we haven't actually really bullet pointed.
I was actually going to bring that up, but please, Derek, go ahead.
As our resident, as one of our resident queers and our resident gender fucked whatever I am, I think I'm in the best position to be as loud as I fucking want. So we start with obviously the tweets from before the game was even heavily marketed put us in kind of a bad position where the LGBTQ community doesn't feel good about how those sort of subjects will be handled, especially because Cyberpunk as a genre tends to be very, very queer. I mean, it's fucking punk. Punk is very queer. It is. And this whole marketing shit around the trans model hawking the energy drinks with the neon cybernetic penis that's on backwards is kind of fucked up, because there's a long history in this country of men fetishizing trans women. It's all about the penis. It's all about their dick, that they still have that. It's all about fetishizing them as a sexual object around the fact that they are women physically, ideally to the straight man in every way but that. And men will I'm gonna get crude here for a bit because I'm kind of mad.
Please do, get
Men
crude.
will fucking jack off left and right to trans women in porn and never publicly admit it, despite the fact that public statistics show that, like, statistically speaking, most of you, more of you straight men in chat than not have looked for it at least once. But then when it comes to trans people's rights and their dignity, they don't get that. So trans people don't get to exist as anything but a sex object and a fetish symbol.
Because they don't view trans people as real people.
Right. You know, so you get that, where that's all that you show. And then there's the complaints about the character creator, which is something you're going to start hearing a lot about in games with character creators, that the character creators don't allow for trans and non-binary options. And when games are doing good about that, we celebrate it. And we're going to start seeing more community pushback against every game that does not allow you that kind of separation. And CD Projekt,
by the way, Star Wars Squadrons,
Squadrons
does
great
a
about
very
that.
good job about that.
Voice, body type, face, all separate from each other. You can do whatever you want, which is better than Cyberpunk. And it's great that Cyberpunk, that CD Projekt took the choice to separate a lot of the body build options out. But your pronouns are still tied to your voice, which for many trans people is a major pain point, because one of the hardest things for many trans men and women is getting their voice tone to match what we stereotypically consider a man's voice or a woman's voice. And oftentimes trans people may physically like pass, which is a whole hard concept to get into, long before they actually sound like we might conventionally consider a man or a woman to sound. So the fact that pronouns are still tied to voice is another point of pain that CD Projekt could have known if they actually consulted trans people about these choices, which is something developers need to do more. We talk a lot about the issues with queer representation in the game and queer characters. To my knowledge, as I've heard, there's almost no trans representation in the game.
I think there's one trans character.
Yeah, but
one.
It's also just shitty in its portrayal of race. Like, you have a Haitian gang that's all voodoo themed, like it's
the Voodoo Boys,
South Park stereotypical.
Boys.
But there's no Haitian people outside of that gang. All Haitians are gang members, right?
So,
like you have this, you have all of these racially stereotyped gangs in many ways. But for the most part, those characters only exist within those gangs.
So,
Jeff, I think you've got to.
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. I was gonna say, like the Haitian gang, the Voodoo Boys, or whatever, has been in the headlines a lot. But there's a good thread I saw the other week about the Japanese representation of the game.
Yes, East Asian representations.
And it was like everyone just has a fucking thick accent.
Yeah,
like every single one, despite the fact like most of these people should just be Americanized.
After several generations.
So egregious. The thing that's so egregious about that bothers me is like, a lot of that stuff is built in like 80s stereotypes and 80s fears.
Yeah.
And like it's so bizarre how they decided to just emulate a lot of very dated things from 40 years ago in this game. Instead of trying to update, some of the commentary for the modern era. Like it's so weird that they're just like, we're gonna make it like something from the 80s and then leave it. Like, it's so weird because like I love a lot of really problematic stuff that stems from the 80s. Like, I like Cyberpunk as a genre, and I know there's a lot of fucking issues with Cyberpunk as a genre. And like, just seeing that they just tried to emulate the older stuff instead of trying to take something that, started off problematic and evolve it is just, it's so frustrating.
Well, and a lot of it doesn't make sense because you as we briefly mentioned, but didn't really describe in detail, the thing we got to do, because not everybody's as extremely online as us, is a lot of these characters, a lot of like the people in this Haitian gang, for example, a lot of these East Asian and like specifically Japanese from that thread, but I've heard it's a problem throughout East Asian characters in the game, is that these characters oftentimes still have incredibly thick and stereotypical accents, and use bits of their native language in ways that are not actually natural in terms of their use. But these are people who've been in Night City for generations, and like accents don't hold over generations. Like we've seen that people's voice, second, third generation, like Americans, are they pick up the regional accent usually with English. Like that's how it works. So for all the Haitians in Night City to sound like they just stepped off the boat, or at least what some Polish person's idea of what a Haitian just off the boat sounds like is really frustrating. You shouldn't still be walking into markets and seeing an East Asian fishmonger with a goofy triangle hat speaking in broken English. Like it's incredibly fucked.
So we have a Latino man on the podcast with us, CJ, and
yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, how bad is the? I haven't looked into it because I really don't care. Like, how bad is Latino? I really want. I want to hear.
So, all right. So CJ, I'm going to throw this edge because I have it right in front of me right now. Right, I have all the gangs. I have all the gangs in front of me right now. Here's the Latino gang, and I want to get your perspective on this. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So they're called the Valentinos.
Okay.
And their symbol is a V with a bunch of roses around it. Their purpose, as listed by CDPR, is to seduce the most beautiful women in Night City.
Oh, that's fucked. Oh, that's some white replacement shit. I don't like that.
To seduce. So this is a poser gang dedicated to seducing the most attractive women in Night City. The more unobtainable she appears to be, the more attractive a target she makes. They do not maintain. Wait, it gets worse. It gets worse. They do not maintain any turf and have no goals outside of seducing women. They are generally harmless to anyone except the husbands and boyfriends of every attractive woman in the city.
Oh my god, this game just told me.
What the fuck is that?
Oh my god.
What the fuck is that?
Oh.
So like I mean
that's fucked up, beyond belief. Like straight up. That is honestly the most fucked up, the most racist shit I have ever heard. No, like I am floored. I knew it was bad. I knew that this game, like the representation was gonna be bad. But I didn't think that they're just like, all right, let's pull from the, fucking what do they call them? Like these old Walt Disney shorts from the past. We're gonna pull up the fucking
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
All right, let's pull up the sombrero wearing like lazy Mexican stereotype as our in our neon soaked future. Oh my god, yeah, I'm not picking this shit up. I'm not gonna fuck. Yeah, like they lost me already.
I'm actually looking at a picture of the Valentinos right now, CJ, and it is exactly what you were probably thinking of. The seduce the most beautiful women, like that is their purpose.
Oh my god, that's
like CJ. I can't fucking imagine how I
hadn't heard about that one. Jesus Christ.
I can't even imagine, CJ, how something like that, like we laugh about it, we joke about it, but I can't imagine how that must make you feel.
Yeah, like okay, well, I can't speak for obviously look, they're going after, they don't care who they're going after because they think that all probably Latino people are Mexican, and that's what I would hear a lot here. But so I can't really speak for that, right? That obviously is targeted towards a specific group of people, whether CD Projekt Red intended to or not, and I'm going to guess that they were fully intended to. Yeah, that's despicable. I think that's gross. That's really gross. Like that is.
Like, I actually did not know that until just now when I read it.
I didn't know it. I look, honest to God, it sounds like you're making it up, but then again, it sounds too fucking.
No, it's right here. It's right here. Like,
and it's again, that's like a Looney Tunes cartoon like level of racist. Like that's something that you would see in a movie from the 40s and think, okay, yeah, it's fucked up, but that was a different time. I would never expect that's a game from 2020 set in the future, mind you.
Oh God, there's a
I've seen like some tweets from Natalie Flores, and like she's like furious that there's one really well written Latinx queer woman in the game that she really likes, because she's like, great. She's like actually mad that there's something that she really likes and connects with in this game, because there's so much other awful shit.
Look, there's Natalie in
directed at
chat.
People like
Just
her.
in time.
Oh, hi Natalie.
Okay.
And like,
So-
sorry, I just want
so-
to clarify. So like,
So
it's not
if
even
we-
like the game attempts to like make commentary on this and flip the script and like say, hey, like all
So
this
the
racist
whole
shit is
point-
problematic, right? It just ignores it, from what I
The game
understand.
just
So-
told me to get back on the boat. That's what the
Oh
fucking
my God.
game
So
is.
like
The game
every-
is- like, that's what the game
from the
told-
people I've talked to, and this is I think the most frustrating thing, is like there are interviews with writers of the game where it sounds like some of this stuff was initially put in with good intent, like they were going to, maybe, I don't know, but like there's like it's not, they don't have any characters or any writing in the game that would actually link it to, oh, why these stereotypes exist. What are they lampooning with these ridiculous ads that are all over? They put that stuff in, and then they put characters in the world, and they didn't link the two. And
So-
linking the two is like the most important stuff that you do when you're working in this genre, and to be able to claim that it's satire, that it's social commentary. They just didn't do any of that shit.
So if you thought the Valentinos was bad, wait till I read you the description of the Voodoo Boys. Now remember that, and I'm going to throw a content warning out here. Remember, let me fix my mic there. Remember that the Voodoo Boys are made up of people of color, black men and women.
Yeah, it's Haitian specifically, right?
So right.
Yeah.
So this is a terrorist gang of drug dealers who will kill, torture, and rape for any reason or no reason at all.
No.
That's
No.
Yep, that.
This one's hard. I know,
I
mean, obviously the creator of the tabletop game was a person of color, and I think obviously his views can't represent everyone. He claimed that there was some sort of like reclamation intended, because the gang in the original game, I think, was white and was actually a commentary on cultural appropriation. But
Yeah,
like,
there's
here it's just fucked.
The Voodoo Boys are really, really tough, because Pondsmith has actually weighed in on some of that, and like
It seems like
don't-
he's just kind of dedicated to being an edgelord. Like, I'm not gonna say he's a bad person, but it seems like
No, it's-
like if you can trigger
how-
people, oh my god, then we've succeeded. Like, there's a little of that going on in some of the interviews I've read. Like,
No, there
he's a
definitely
little rough.
is, but also I think some people are using Pondsmith's presence as an excuse for some of the.
Oh, he's a
garbage
shield,
that
for
CDPR
sure.
Yeah,
He's- yeah.
thrown in there, because like so unless I have actually hit, and I just know specifically he's weighed in on the Voodoo Boys, and like unless I actually have his words, I don't really want to talk too much about him or invoke his name, because I don't know how much is CDPR, how much is him, and I don't want to be like, I've seen people being like, well, a black man made this and he said it's okay, kind of thing, without there actually being that kind of influence. So I'm just not touching this one for now.
Like, I know that, like, look, I want to throw something out there. We have at SDGC a very, very, very diverse audience. And people from people of all genders, of all sexualities. And I just want to say,
it's sometimes no genders.
Right. And I just want to say that it is difficult. It's one thing, like, it's difficult for us to talk about this knowing who a large swath of our audience is comprised of. I can't even imagine what it must be like for you to hear stuff like that. And I just want to say that, look, we can laugh about all the glitches on this online, and, we can talk about, butt-ass naked T-poses and stuff, and it's all fun and games. But at the end of the day, we do realize that this is extremely harmful to a lot of you. And
I mean, I know I personally have avoided retweeting some of like the harsh criticism about representation and stuff, just because I don't want to put that content on people's timelines that I know follow me. I want to make clear, I've retweeted a lot of the glitch stuff, a lot of the dunks on the game not working and stuff. But there was an actual thought process in why I haven't signal boosted some of this stuff, is because I know, especially like some of these ads and the gangs and stuff, there are people that follow me that if they saw it would be very upset by it. And I just haven't wanted to put that on their timelines.
I see the logic in that, but I also think, as like Justin, you and I, for example, like Jeff said it great at the beginning of this whole conversation,
Jeff
right? Like Jeff nailed it, right? Like it's fine to enjoy go enjoy the game. Nobody's telling you can't enjoy the game, but if you consider yourself an ally, then you have to consider who this game is affecting, because as a straight white man, it's not really affecting you. There's nothing harmful in this game if you're a straight white man. There's nothing insulting in this game if you're a straight white man. That's not the case for everybody, and I think it's important to recognize that and remember that. So I would say, for people like me and Jeff and Justin, who are straight white men, it is also important for us to raise these issues and say, we have to stand in solidarity. This isn't okay. And so, like, I get not wanting to put that on people's time. I totally get that. I probably put shit on people's timelines that they don't want to fucking see.
Oh, you.
In fact, I know I know I do. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. Like, but at the same time, there are people out there that this hurts, and I feel like we have a responsibility to speak out against this. So I don't know. It's a tough balancing act. It really is.
I think what I ask of people, because look, I don't have the ability to throw stones at people who buy Cyberpunk and play it and even find parts that they enjoy in it. Because I know for sure somebody can dig through the list of games and movies and books and comics and things that I enjoy and find something in there that has some problematic content. Y'all, I fucking love Persona, and I've straight up talked at length about the issues I see in Persona 4 and 5. Like, Kanji. As much as I love them, and as much as I even think that we could have maybe more nuanced versions of the discussions we sometimes have about those characters and those elements, like, that shit's not great. But the thing is,
I've played P4G 3 times, and every time with Kanji, I'm like,
yeah. I'm not asking, what marginalized folks broadly are asking for is not for you to totally stop. Some people are asking you not to. I can't speak for them, but I will say that the vast majority of what I hear and see and what I want personally is I just want you to consider, right? Like, if you're going to play a thing, be aware of the parts of it that are bad, so that if you're going to internalize the things that you like, you know how to at least excise like which parts are good and bad. I want you to be savvy and aware and compassionate in your love for something. I want you to play Persona 4, right, and recognize that a lot of queer people are not happy with the way Kanji and Naoto are portrayed. Doesn't mean don't love those games. Doesn't mean don't love those characters and their arcs. But it means recognize that those problems are there. And I think where so much of the capital D discourse from the capital G gamers is so exhausting is all we're really asking is for people to acknowledge that there are problems. And people take it so personally that they refuse to acknowledge that there is a problem at all, because if there was a problem, then they might have to face the fact that they like something problematic. Life gets a lot easier when you recognize you can like something and it have problems.
And Justin said it really well. I just want to tie that into what Derek said. Like, there's also a difference between a game trying to tackle some really heavy subject matter and missing on some of it, whether it's intentional. Like, I could see that a little bit different, like something in Persona where it takes some of these really heavy themes and some of them it does really well, and some of them it's like, holy fuck, you missed the mark on this. Yeah. Versus something where an entire game and an entire company, the entire attitude just seems indifferent and outright hostile. Like, there is like, did you care? Did you try and still get it wrong? Or did you just not give a shit, or, actually just give up and say, we don't fucking care, here's your game?
I have a great example. Actually, you bring this up. I have a great example real shortly. So like earlier today, I'm playing Batman Arkham Origins. It's the first time I've played through this game. And I get to the Copperhead fight. And like there's a lot I like about this redesign of Copperhead. It's a great redesign. She's a bad motherfucker, but at the same time, like as I'm doing the fight and as I'm vibing both with this fight and this character, I'm also recognizing like she's throwing out a lot of like random Spanish words in the middle of her sentences in a very stereotypical way. And there's kind of the like stereotypical like sexy seductress killer, Latinx like woman. And like, I'm recognizing that stuff's probably not intentional. It's probably informed by the fact that a lot of those problems are deeply rooted in the way we portray Latinx people in media. But like it's there,
no, Derek,
but
that's just how we all talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but like it's
yell random words in Spanish all the time.
It's not evil, it's misguided.
Thanks for confirming that, CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, Last of Us Part 2 had some of this earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
They have a Latinx character that does the same thing. There's been criticism around, the trans character that was in the game. Like, you can tell those characters were crafted with good intent.
Yeah.
But
nobody meant for Copperhead.
Execution.
Nobody meant for Copperhead to be a racist character.
And that's like, and that's not harsh criticism, right?
Yeah.
That's just, hey, here's some criticism. Take it. Next time, do better.
Yeah, but then you go to something like Cyberpunk and you've got the fucking Valentinos in there. Hey, what are all of the Valentinos about? Oh, I see they're here for the white replacement. Like, it's that is not even. I hesitate to even call that accidental. The fact that both the Valentinos and the Voodoo Boys are largely men of color whose main job is sexual
They're all
conquest.
Men of color. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's women in the Voodoo
Valentinos
Boys.
is straight up some of the most racist shit
but
I've
it deeply feeds into that stuff. Explicitly feeds into a lot of white nationalist rhetoric, and I have a hard time calling that accidental. There's a big difference there.
So I want to throw something over to CJ real quick, but I do want to address something that was said in chat. Somebody said they feel guilty that they weren't aware of so many problems with this game and have no idea how they missed the conversations. Don't feel guilty.
Don't. If you didn't know, do not beat yourself up over it.
Like I didn't know that shit about the Valentinos until literally when I read it. I was like,
I didn't know, and I was still gonna eventually buy the game. Like I told it, I'll buy it when it gets fixed. That's how fast it took me to turn on it.
Yeah,
I just learned it better right now.
Don't just like CJ said, don't feel guilty. We're all here to learn, right? Like nobody can know everything. And again, I stress it. Nobody here is telling anybody in our audience not to go buy and play the game. If you want to go do it, it's your money. Just be aware of the issues in the game and who it might hurt. That's all we're asking. Because there's some deeply problematic shit in this game. But that's not your fault if you didn't know it. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah.
And then I want to kick it to CJ.
If you are in a position where you didn't know about some of this stuff, I would suggest maybe just trying to expand like some of the people you follow on social media and stuff to include, maybe some more trans, queer, non-white voices, because they have been talking about this stuff for a while. And I know this game has had so much conversation around it. Just try to look for some more people to follow, to listen to, because some of that stuff just goes a really long way. Toward just broadening your horizons and making you kind of understand some of these issues more, and it requires very little effort.
Sorry, John. I just want to. Apparently, Derek wasn't aware of this, and a lot of people in chat aren't aware of this. And it's been impossible to keep up with this game. There's on top of all the racist shit and the stuff against queer people, there's also there was just some weird shit. So someone posted a description. It's a screenshot. It's an actual description of the police force in the game. And it was basically hey, this police force is corrupt and they're just fed up with their jobs and they're really stressed. So they beat people up and kill them. But some of the cops are good and they strive for it was basically not all copping it. And it's just
there's a point where your character V, who is a criminal, this isn't a dialogue option. This is just something that V says. In a conversation, they actually say, not all cops are bastards.
Oh, nothing
In a
is more
punk game where you play as a criminal.
Nothing more punk than helping the cop. It's like
It's
Listen, the establishment is the most fun thing of all.
I won't repeat it, but there's also some take on, I guess, a racist meme in there as well regarding disproportional incarceration or something like that. So there's like there's some fucked up shit in there. It's not an accident. Someone put it in there intentionally.
Someone took.
I mean, there's also a whole nother. Oh, go ahead, CJ.
Like someone took an AI and like had them read 4chan and then had them fucking write this game based on all the this is like
somebody had 2 Google Homes go to 4chan and then write a script for a game.
Bro, this is like God damn.
I think Borderlands handled this stuff more tastefully, which is something.
So
Yeah,
I actually have a question for CJ. Harkening back to stuff like the Valentinos, right? You're a Latino man. You are a person of color. When somebody like myself draws attention to stuff like this online, even if I'm shitting all over it, which I am, is this something that you want to see on your feed? Is this something that you necessarily want to see, or should I just not? Like I
don't speak for everyone, so again, it's my thing is I've already made a decision, right? And I knew the game was racist from the beginning, right? I knew it was. Hell, I was on the last time I was on the podcast, we talked about how fucking racist this game was.
Yes.
That's right.
We did.
And then you and I talked Call of Duty and stuff too, which
just fucking
and then also CJ has written a full review. What site was it for, CJ?
Game Critics. So on GameCritics.com. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to plug my shit in right now, but like
I want to plug this because it was good.
I wrote an 800-word, essentially over 800-word review on why Black Ops Cold War is arguably one of the most racist games I've ever played. A game I bought and paid for. I paid $70 to play this fucking game.
Oh.
And I wrote about how racist it is. But John, like to answer your thing, I don't speak for everyone. Hell, I'm not. I was born in this country. I'm technically American, right? In that way, so I don't struggle.
I'd like to
with a
think
lot
we
of
could
this.
strike the technically part of that,
Yeah,
but
you're American, bud. You're
American, but again, saying
you're one of
again,
us
but
dumbasses.
I know what you're. I know.
I
what
don't
you're
have.
saying, though.
I don't have the same. I don't share the same struggles that a lot of other people share. Hell, I was lucky that I can pass for white and I'm a man, so essentially I have it a lot easier than most people, right? Again, the only thing I truly struggle with is my actual name. If you've written out, it's very ethnic. So, and that's you know what I'm saying. So a lot of people will judge that based on before they even see what I look like. So, John, with in your case, I mean, I think you should draw attention to it. I just don't think you should dominate the conversation.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. No, you're right.
Like I said, I don't represent everyone, obviously. I'm lucky enough to follow a lot of like different like diverse voices. I'm lucky enough to listen to my girlfriend who like texted me once in the middle of the day complaining about why I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, knowing damn well it's so racist, and it's all that, right? So I again, I think that you should elevate these voices, but don't dominate the conversation, if that makes sense.
Oh, wait. We have a statement. We have an official statement from CD Projekt.
Somebody
Red.
woke up.
It's a nothing statement. It's just we're confirming that Sony said.
Yeah,
it.
that's all it is. Never mind.
Mention
It's garbage.
Okay, good.
So there's something. But speaking of that statement, we do need to address the fact that this game is no longer even available for purchase on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm ready. Jeff, go ahead.
So like John said, it's no longer available for purchase. And according to our very own Finn, who just tweeted this out, you can no longer upload or even share media from it on the PS5. So you can share screenshots or video clips from this game.
Probably because they don't want associated hashtags.
No more T poses.
Glitch videos.
No more bare ass T poses.
It could just be a technical glitch where like it's tied to the store a copy of the game
It
and
could
just
be.
pulling it from the store disabled that, like unintentionally. But yeah, you can't share
don't
media
think so.
on the PS5, and you can no longer buy it. Crazy.
That's fucking fantastic. And when is Microsoft going to follow suit? You know it's coming. You know it's coming.
Microsoft not only has a marketing deal for this game, it still says Microsoft and Xbox One at the end of every commercial for this. They released in April, because the game got delayed so many times, an Xbox One X that is themed after Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Can you imagine owning
Damn,
an
that
Xbox One X right now? Like,
That console can't even run the fucking game. What the fuck are they-
It actually is the worst version of the game.
Hope you have a fucking RTX 3090 so you can run this game at 1080p. Son of a fuck. Like,
I didn't even consider the marketing deal with Microsoft. That muddies things.
Yeah, no, it's Sony could act a little bit faster, but Microsoft is probably extra pissed.
The fucking pressure's
so-
on them.
Yeah.
Are we ready for us to go on and laugh about the state that this game launched in?
Yeah,
I've
let's
shared
hear
this
these. I
stuff just
need the-
because it makes me laugh. Like, but I'm also mad about it, and I also want to talk about the people that worked on this
Yeah.
game.
as far as I'm concerned, the
Because-
bugs are the funny shit. Like, you know.
Yo, yeah, that's part of the reason why. Also, it's like there's so much shit around it that's problematic. It could be upsetting for people. The bugs and shit is really funny, and we're all getting some Schadenfreude from it. Like,
Standing
But,
bare
so-
ass T-posing on a motorcycle
T-posing
is
on a motorcycle is one of the funniest bugs I have
But-
ever
I
seen.
love it.
ass
History.
naked.
I'm gonna fucking T-pose everywhere pantsless now. Just all over the fucking place.
Don't get me banned
Bare
from
ass
Twitch,
hanging
John.
hanging out. Except on the channel. Like, I don't mind
Thank
getting arrested in
Thank
public, but I can't have the channel shut down.
If you fucking
So-
Google Duo me while I'm at work, fucking naked T-posing, I'm gonna punch you through the screen. I just want you to know
I'm
that.
gonna call Justin. Go ahead.
Okay, so quick summary for those who might have not have been following. So, aside from all the other stuff that we've talked about and spent a lot of time talking about, there like some people in chat have even said they didn't know about that stuff. Perfectly fair. Like, this was a very highly anticipated game from a company whose last game is one of the best games ever. Like, I adored that
Can
game.
I say according to many so that John shuts the fuck up?
Okay, fine. It's
Astrid?
personally one that I deeply love.
There you go. Much better.
All right.
So, also, I also want to mention that CD Projekt Red has leaned into a lot of. So there's a lot of discourse, especially in gamer communities, about pro-consumer and anti-consumer stuff, and it's very tiring because a lot of it is misused. However, CD Projekt Red has really leaned into it. They have tried to make themselves seem like this good pro-consumer company that really wants to do what needs to be done for players.
Oopsie
There was
doopsie
a lot
gamers,
of
we didn't know that the PS4 version was in such a bad state. We made a fucky wucky. We sure hope you forgive us while we work on this game for you, you beautiful gamers. We love
Derek,
you so
that
much.
is one hell of a voice.
That's what's
For the
going on.
waste
So they've really leaned into it.
Yeah,
And
for the
people have embraced it.
racism.
They run good old games, GOG.com, which is all DRM free stuff, and they've rescued a lot of stuff from being irrelevant and lost. And there's just so
But
many
devotion.
things that they've really tried to do. And then they did the shadiest shit I've ever heard. I need to describe to you what the NDAs on this review process were, because they only sent out PC codes. They made it sound like their PR company fucked up, which is why console codes weren't going up. It was CD Projekt Red's fault. That was a calculated decision. They gave they gave reviewers 5 days with a game this big. That's not a lot of time to play it and then write about it. They also basically said and this isn't actually uncommon when it comes to reviews and reviews embargoes, but they said hey, there's a big day one patch, so we recommend that you only have people with PC specs above a certain level to play it, because we're going to be patching it for, people on lower level systems. And that stuff isn't uncommon. Like, there are times when reviewers get embargoes that list what's going to be in the day one patch, so they know not to, criticize it. Like, the developers are aware, they're working on it, and it will be fixed for anybody else. That stuff's normal. Here's where it crosses into completely bullshit territory. Reviewers were not allowed to use their own footage. They were only allowed to use B-roll footage provided by CD Projekt Red. Now, people have criticized Sony for having some really harsh NDAs. And those have been mainly spoiler reasons. They're like, hey, you can show gameplay from these sections that we've showcased before. But reviewers could always showcase their own gameplay and their own experience. CD Projekt Red just supplied every reviewer with the footage that they were allowed to use. That should have sent off a big red flag.
CDPR knew the state this game was in and very intentionally tried to hide it so that people would buy it in that first week without knowing what the game was like.
And it worked, because they sold over 8 million copies and recouped all of the development costs on day one.
Well, sure, the budget was a plate of ham sandwiches.
You don't need to feel bad for them.
Do not feel bad for this company.
Don't you fucking feel bad for them, I'll find you.
I mean, okay, you can feel bad for the people that are crunching their asses off to try to get this
and
game
that's the thing, and that's the fucked up thing. That's the fucked up thing, is that they crunched on this game.
That's the next thing I want to talk about.
Okay, all right.
Because I have a lot to say about this. Like, they released a game. There were so many people on this development team that were telling their bosses, hey, these console versions are not acceptable. Hey, we do not have good performance on people with lower end PCs. Hey, we don't have time to do an actual next gen version. I am sure the people that work at this company were telling their bosses this. And their bosses were like, gotta fucking release it this quarter.
We got this, man.
Yeah.
We're good.
And now, CD Projekt Red has publicly promised patches for January and February. I've seen the state that this game is in, even though I do not own it. It is not going to be totally fixed by February. And now, those people that were probably sounding the alarm bells about the state that this game is in are going to have to crunch through the holidays and for the next couple months, when they can't, for something that probably is still going to be a mess after it, to try to salvage their management's reputation. And on top of that, this game has a lot of stuff promised for it. They're going to be doing free DLC drops like they did with Witcher 3. There's going to be 2 major expansions. They're doing multiplayer at some point. They're doing next-gen versions. The work for the team, especially on a technical level, is nowhere near done. And it's made all the worse by the state that this game released in. And the management at CD Projekt Red is rancid and needs to be completely replaced. They basically sent a middle finger to probably over 80% of the people that paid the same amount of money for this game, expecting that it would work. Like, I mean, yes, there's COVID this year. We all kind of expect, especially big games, to launch with some bugs, some minor performance issues, but we expect them to be functionally working. This game has placeholder textures popping up everywhere. Like, the crowds don't function. Like, you turn around and it's a different character model there because it's just randomly culling stuff. It's the cars, the drivers don't have actual AI simulation for how to drive. Like, sorry, I could go on and on. Like, this game is just.
Yeah,
This team worked so hard to deliver on promises that their management made from them, and then their management didn't listen to what was needed to actually get it out the door, and that makes me so angry.
So I'm not trying to cut you off, but I do want to let other people cut in real quick. Who here has seen the glitch where you can fire over the heads of a crowd and they all duck, and then you turn in a 360, and with the minute you face them again, all the NPCs are gone. They're just gone.
Yeah, it just despawns them rather than trying to work out a path. Same thing happens with traffic. I've seen like where if you block traffic, the cars will disappear when you're not looking, rather than try to find the cars a way around the obstacle. So you can just like park and block the road. I mean, there's a lot of, we've seen the pictures of the street signs that have the like sample text, subtext on it. We've seen the sign for Night City that's typoed. Like, it's just, this is bad.
Can we please address ass out T-posing?
We've talked about ass out T-posing for sure.
So basically that one I actually understand. You don't see the character's pants while you're driving.
Sure, but
don't need to render pants.
but
hey, why can men's dicks clip through the front of their pants? Why do they need to render a dick?
CJ, have you seen the dicks clipping through the pants?
No, I haven't seen it, but I'm well aware of it. And I'm thinking like someone crunched to do that, like to like make a dick model in a game for it not to work right.
Not just one.
Fucking clip through the
different sizes.
There's two penis models.
There's like a spectrum of dicks from what I understand.
If penis is so good, why haven't they made penis 2? They have? Never mind. I have a dog.
I honestly, this has to be unprecedented in the sense that I cannot remember a time when a console game was released in especially such a widely anticipated game like Cyberpunk. I cannot remember a time when a game was released and then delisted from console because it ran so bad and now you can't even, like, the not sharing videos and clips to Twitter or social media is I can't even fathom that. Like,
I also want to share the stat that CDPR said 50% of their sales of Witcher 3 were on PlayStation 4.
Oh,
Sony removing Cyberpunk is a big deal. And also, there was that investors call the other day where CDPR tried to kind of throw Microsoft and Sony under the bus.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, Sony's pissed at them right now. Like,
oh, I'm sure, because
they did not go to Sony for this refund shit.
No, they tried to pass off the issue to. I mean, and also PlayStation's refund policy, it has always been bullshit, and they need to reevaluate it. But CDPR just tried to throw the issue off onto Microsoft and Sony. And they also called out Microsoft and Sony. They're like, well, Microsoft and Sony said we could release it because we were given waivers and certification. And that's also not an uncommon thing because CD Projekt Red is a studio that has a good track record when it comes to patching. And sometimes they could be like, look, we're working on a day one patch. We just need to be able to start manufacturing copies.
Right.
It'll be fine. And so they basically just said to Sony and Microsoft, we're going to take care of it. And then didn't. And are trying to get people to be angry at Sony and Microsoft for letting that through.
CJ,
that's not going to fly.
See, I want to ask CJ a question, and then I want to ask Jeff a question. CJ, how much of this, did you know before you came on tonight about it actually being delisted from PlayStation Network?
Yeah, I made the joke.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, sorry. I've had a lot. I've had a lot to drink tonight. This is actually a question for everybody. Is there a precedent to this? I
mean, like I said, Arkham Knight got delisted off of.
But that's from. But
PC,
I was gonna say that.
Arkham Knight on PC.
What does it being for PC mean any different? Like, if you get delisted from Steam, it's no different from getting delisted from PSN.
Yeah, it's like a huge thing. Are you kidding? Like that game.
CJ, go ahead. No, CJ, go ahead, and then Jeff.
No, but I'm saying, like, that's probably the only thing, because like that game, again, widely anticipated, massive game. When it came out in like the middle of the summer, where nothing else is being released, it's a new, Batman game. That game did not work on PC, from what I remember it. From what I remember, like, it just did not work. It would rain inside fucking Wayne Manor.
Wouldn't it like unplayably stuttery and?
Yeah. And because didn't they that was a different company worked on that port, didn't they? They're like they promised Warner Bros. And Rocksteady, no, we'll have it done in a short amount of time, whatever. Just we'll do it, and then it ended up not working to the point where Warner Bros. Took it off Steam. Like Steam wasn't the one that that took it off. This is Sony.
Yeah,
Want to say it was high
Sony,
voltage. I mean, it's beside the point.
It's one of the it's one, but so this is I've never seen anything where the console manufacturer is like, no, fuck it, we're gonna take this game off of our storefront.
And so my next question, jumping off that, I want to throw it at Jeff. How much of this do you think is the game just being busted on consoles, as opposed to how much of this is Sony being fucking pissed off at CDPR that they were like, go to Sony for a refund, and Sony was like, you didn't fucking clear that with us. Like how much of this is the game and how much of this is Sony being fucking mad? Which they should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Sony's not happy with the situation. I don't know that it's that emotional and personal. I think they're just looking at it from a very pragmatic point of view, and they're like, how do we fucking stop this noise and this bullshit? And they're like, okay, we'll just pull it from the store. That's the quick, that's someone mentioned it in our chat earlier, but or in our Discord, I think they're just literally trying to stop the bleeding. And they're like, if we don't sell any more copies, then we cut off the mad gamers, we cut off the refund requests. So I think they're just looking to just say okay, fuck it, we're out, and we'll just deal with this stuff here, and we'll make our own customers happy. And then they push it back to CD Projekt Red, and they're like, okay, fix your shit. Until then, that's it. This is your problem now. It's we're not having anything to do with it anymore. To me, that's what it looks like what they did, and I can't blame them.
No, I can't blame them either. I
yeah, but I don't think it's that petty. I don't think Sony's just like, fuck you for dragging our name through the mud. We're gonna fucking no. I don't think it's that. I think
they don't want to deal with it. This is bad. When people who don't deal with gaming, like at the news station where I work at, twice in the past week has the subject of this game come up over the headsets during the news, like in breaks and stuff. And when people at a news station are talking about shit about a video game, like it's mainstream knowledge.
You're just my mother.
Yeah,
my mom, who knows nothing about video games and technology, asked me yesterday, have you heard about this game that's so bad that people are spending hours trying to get refunds for? And this is a direct mom quote. Characters' parts are falling out of their clothes.
They're naughty bits. Justin, the naughty bits are coming out of their pants.
She's gonna text you again saying, did you hear that the same company pulled that Chinese game from their store?
Wild that PlayStation doesn't want to have to deal with this. I mean, their refund policies already.
I can't believe Jim Ryan would actually go to the lengths to pull this.
Justin, your mom asking you that is like my mom sending me a text message saying, John, what's this I hear about all the cock and balls coming out of characters' pants in a video game? That's vulgar.
Just to clarify,
John. That's vulgar.
My mom can barely send an email. That's how disconnected from anything technology and gaming related.
Have we checked? Has there been an outraged Fox News segment or anything about sex in the Cyberpunk game?
I don't know, but next week Justin's mom is going to start a YouTube channel and start pumping out Cyberpunk videos.
She's in her car just yelling about CDPR. So sick of seeing the fucking yellow wall.
The only person in our family allowed to make content while they drive is Finn.
That reminds me, you know what, Derek, you know what? It's actually interesting that we have not seen Fox News get mad about dicks flopping around in Cyberpunk.
It's because they want to promote the.
It's because the game's racist, so they like it.
I remember when Mass Effect came out.
That's what I was thinking of.
They were all mad.
And those TV safe sex scenes were
Derek, the Chiron, because Jeff Keighley was on Fox News talking about that.
Oh wow.
Way back when. And
the sex box.
The sex box. The Chiron was sex box. and Jeff Keighley is so And one guy was like, this is basically Star Wars meets Debbie Does Dallas. And you could see Jeff Keighley's soul evacuate his freaking body.
He was like, you don't even
Jeff-
know what a video game is.
On Jeff's face, he was just like, why? What has my life come to that I'm here? And his answer, legit, I remember this. His answer was, I mean, you see the side of an alien booby. That's about it. And I'm just like, oh my God. But we are brushing up against our end time here. Look at this. We filled out almost a whole episode with nothing but CDPR.
And
talk.
we're fucking done with it for now, I hope.
Yeah,
Jesus.
There's more we could have talked about.
Yeah,
too.
but we're done. I can't do any more.
But
CDPR
none of
discourse.
us want to talk. Like we were talking. We're like, we gotta address this stuff tonight. But none of us really want to talk about this game anymore.
Let me talk about people arguing over whether Monster Hunter Rise is going to sell more than World, right?
No,
Let
I
me talk
can't do
about
that.
dumb shit like that.
Derek,
It's not gonna. I know.
I have no more room for discourse right now.
I know.
Of any
Like,
kind. What I will say is
anything.
this. We've got a lot of cool content coming up. On Sunday, we're going to be recording, we're going to be ranking the top JRPGs of the PlayStation 1 era with my buddy Zach Ryan from IGN. And we'll get that out to you next week. So please look forward to that as Square Enix would say about literally everything they do.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cool surprises coming up in the future. We are in mid-January. I'll go ahead and announce this here. In mid-January, probably I am looking at the third weekend of January. We are going to be running a stream to raise funds for the Trevor Project. Which is something that it's the Trevor Project, if you don't know, is an organization that combats the suicide epidemic among young LGBTQ people. And we're going to be joined. We're going to have a lot of streamers streaming with us, and one of the organizations that is going to be in on this with us is Spawn on Me.
This is all things that happened like today, and John is like just excited to talk about it.
I'm very excited about it. I'm already working with the Trevor Project to set everything up, and Khalif and Spawn and me are on board. We're gonna have a lot of cool streamers doing stuff with us as well. It's gonna be this podcast's first big organized charity stream
outside of like Extra Life.
Right. Yeah. So we're really excited about it. We're really looking forward to it. I'm so
excited we're going to be working with Trevor Project. That is, it is an organization I hold in extremely high regard. And I really hope that if people are able to contribute, that they do. And then if they can't right now, which we understand, keep it in mind for whenever you want to make charitable organizations donations and are able to.
And speaking of donations, this sounds a little gross, but we haven't plugged it in a while. We do have a Patreon that, if you want to, can we get a link to the Patreon in the chat there? We have a Patreon. We don't gate any of our content. Thank you, Nightbot. We don't gate any of our content behind a paywall. We don't plan to at any point in the future. However, we do go to every PAX. And of course, whenever PAX comes back, we'll be at those as well, as long as it's safe.
We also need new equipment.
We need new equipment. All of your donations help us to get to PAX and do the exhaustive work we do there to interview devs and bring you new content. And we do a lot of work at PAXs. Like it's not a joyride for us. It's work.
I die for a week and a half after every PAX.
We're wiped at the end of it. But we do. But even if not, don't worry about it. Give what you can, if you can, when you can. We also have a Discord there. We have like around 270 people in the Discord. Something like that. We got a great Discord. Daniel in chat says, "This is my first time listening. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much." And you know what? I'm going to gift you a sub right now. And we have a Discord. Please join our Discord. We have channels for general talk, gaming, obviously, movies, and just a nice little place to vent.
It's a good, very wholesome community.
Absolutely, we have a great community. I absolutely love our community. We would be nothing without our community, obviously. So thank you so much. Why is it not letting me gift a sub to Daniel? I don't know why, but I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to gift you a sub tonight. I'll figure out what the hell the problem is. CJ, thank you so much for joining us tonight, bud.
Yeah,
You're
man.
a great podcaster. And it is always here it is. I figured it out. Here comes your sub. It's always a pleasure having you on, man. You know that. I don't have to
Appreciate
tell
it,
you
man.
that. And
It's a pleasure to talk to you guys.
yeah, absolutely, dude. And with that, unless anybody has anything else, it has been a pleasure talking to you tonight. And McCready Gaming says, y'all are so awesome. Thank you so much. You're awesome too. And we will see you next week at the same time. And remember,
No, we won't, because
kindness-
next week is
No, we won't.
Christmas.
Next week is
Next week's
Christmas.
Christmas.
And then the
yeah.
week after that is
But-
New Year's
but-
Eve, so we're off for the rest of the year, and we'll be back in January.
But we'll do a stream or something at some point. Like we're not going to be gone
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll do some stuff, but the show
yeah.
is going to be off. We won't be doing the new show, so
for 2 weeks. But we'll be back and we'll be doing streams and pre-recorded content and all. Yeah, tune in for my bad takes on Twitter. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great Christmas and New Year. And remember, kindness costs nothing. Take care of each other.